the volume of activity he performed in his life. It doesn't look like he died in 100 years' time. At least 400 years he must have lived. South Indian mysticism has a different flavor. That's because of Agastya. So he took up the maximum territory compared to the other six.
In how many ways you look at it, you cannot come up with one new thing in your life. It is just, you can only repeat what he has said. Whatever you think is a brilliant idea, if you come up with it, you will see he said it over 15,000 years ago.
Agastya Muni left his subtle body here with this linga, took his physical body to Kailash, where Shiva was, and left it there.
Agastya Muni lived an extraordinary life, and it is believed he also lived an extraordinary span of life. The legend says that he lived for 4,000 years. We do not know. Maybe it was 400. Being Indians, we take a little bit of liberty with zeros. Because it's after all our invention, we can use it whichever way we want. The zero came from India, so we use it little liberally because it's our intellectual property right. We can use zeros without tax. So we do not know exactly how many years, but looking at the travels that he did by foot, I've traveled much more than him, but I jet. He did it by foot. So, looking at the amount of travel he did, he definitely lived an extraordinary span of life. We don't know, it might have been 200 years, 300 years, 400 years, we do not know. But he lived an extraordinary span of life just looking at the distance he covered in his lifetime. If you go to the southern peninsula of India, Deccan Plateau as it is referred to, anywhere south of Vindhyachal, if you go, almost every village you go to, people will say, Agastya Muni meditated here, Agastya Muni lived in this cave, Agastya Muni planted this tree. Endless number of stories like this. Because he did not spare a single human habitation. He went to every human habitation south of Himalayas and touched every human habitation and made spiritual process not as a teaching, not as a religion, not as some kind of philosophy, but just as a part of life. Simply as your mothers teach you how to get up in the morning and brush your teeth, like that spiritual process was taught. The remnants of that, even today, live in the culture, especially in the southern part of the country. In the north, a lot of it has been lost because north took all the beating of invasions from the outside. The invasion, the military invasions, the cultural invasions, the religious invasions from outside were strong in the northern part of the country. But they never usually came down beyond the Vindhyachal mountains. So south remained more protected just by the way the terrain was, the way the whole atmosphere was, because all three sides is ocean. There were no great navies invading, it was usually armies, so they did not come that far down south. So even today, you can see the remnants of this being practiced by common people unconsciously, not even knowing that it's a spiritual process. It's just a part of life. The way you stand, the way you do things, everything, the way you sit, everything has a spiritual basis, but being practiced unconsciously, not being practiced consciously. If I go to a village somewhere in South India, it is true in many parts of North India too, an illiterate person, a completely illiterate person, if I go there, he will not ask, I want a golden horse or something. He will say, Ayya enakku mukti venungayya. He will say, I want ultimate liberation. Nowhere else on this planet is this possible. A completely illiterate person who's never read any scripture, he's never heard any spiritual teaching in his life, nothing. But he knows, somewhere within himself, the culture has told him that he must seek for his ultimate liberation. That means he must seek for a dimension beyond his present existence, the way it is right now. This awareness got so deeply built into the culture that knowingly, unknowingly, people started seeking it. So today it has become too much unknowingly. In spite of 8 to 10 generations of absolute poverty, you will still see there is a certain sense of balance, a certain sense of joy, a certain sense of contentment in them which you rarely see anywhere else on the planet, in spite of almost 10 generations of absolute deprivation on the material level. So this work that Adiyogi did, in terms of contributing to human consciousness, no other being has ever made such a huge contribution, because the technologies for evolving human consciousness, he laid it out so clearly that it does not matter in how many ways you look at it, you cannot come up with one new thing in your life. It is just, you can only repeat what he has said. Whatever you think is a brilliant idea, if you come up with it, you will see he said it over 15,000 years ago. What Charles Darwin said 200 years ago, which is a revolution in human thought, that life can evolve from one dimension to another, is an absolute revolution. But this did not happen 200 years ago. This happened a few thousand years ago. Adiyogi clearly said, whatever the nature of life right now, if you give it a possibility, it can evolve into a completely new dimension that you cannot recognize the previous form. To that extent it can evolve. Without… he said it so categorically, he did not leave any ambiguity about it. When Charles Darwin said it, there was ambiguity about it. People could argue with it. Adiyogi did not leave any room for argument. He said, this is the way life happens. And if you do not know this, from this basic aspect of yoga, this is the reason why every yogasana is named after an animal. Do you know this? Almost every yoga posture that you practice is named after an animal because it is the science of evolving yourself. And when we say, from this evolved what is considered or referred to as the avatars, the 9 times, the 9 different forms in which the divine appeared. The first form was fish. The second form was a turtle. The third form was a boar, a wild boar. The fourth form was half man, half animal. The fifth form was a dwarf man. The sixth one was a full-fledged man. The seventh one was a much more evolved man. Eighth one was an extremely meditative man. The ninth one was a pure, loving and meditative quality of a man. These things were said thousands of years ago. Charles Darwin or Darwin's theory of evolution is 100% in line with this expression of divine finding manifestations in the form of a fish, that is life within water, turtle, half in, half out, amphibious, then a wild boar, which is solidly grounded animal, then half man, half animal, then a dwarf man, then an evolved man, a fully evolved physical man, an angry man. Parshuram is one of the avatars, a very angry, fighting man. The next one is a loving man. The next one is a meditative man. Like this, This was given thousands of years ago. Why I'm saying this to you is, this possibility that a human being can evolve beyond his present limitations is the most significant thing that needs to be planted in human mind right now, because he's empowered like never before. He cannot afford to be stupid anymore. He's empowered like never before. He just cannot afford stupidity anymore, because when you are not empowered, if you're stupid, it's okay. The world can take it. If you are a little ant, you could crawl on anybody you want. Suppose you grew up into a huge elephant. Now, please don't crawl on anybody you want, because wherever you walk, destruction will happen. So, a human being is becoming more and more powerful, but unfortunately not more and more sensible. In today's world, for the first time, for the very first time in the history of humanity, today we are empowered enough to address just about any problem on the planet. We have the needed resource, capability and technology. We can address and fix just about anything on the planet. This was not even possible 25 years ago. This, I want you to understand this. This is for the very first time in the very history of humanity. Such a possibility, such a capability, such levels of resource and such technologies never ever was possible. This is for the very first time. At the same time, we also have the capability for the first time, if we want, we can split the planet Earth into two. Yes? We have enough explosive power with us. If we put it in the right place, we can actually break the planet into two or into many pieces. We are even capable of that. That is also for the first time. So in terms of what we can do to make everything wonderful here, we are capable like never before. In terms of how to make everything absolutely horrible on this planet, we are capable like never before. In terms of obliterating the very life of the planet, also we are capable like never before. Now, what we are going to do is essentially going to be determined by how much investment are we going to make to raise human consciousness? How much investment are we going to make this idea that a human being can move into another possible dimension, into a reality in our lives? Right now, the investment towards that is almost nil. No government in the world is investing anything, no society in the world is investing anything much. Individual human beings here and there doing a little bit, but no organized effort to raise human consciousness is happening, isn't it? And when human beings are so empowered, not raising human consciousness, trying to solve problems, the mind and the mindset which created the problems, with the same mind and the same mindset, trying to find a solution is the most idiotic thing to do. The kind of mind and the kind of mindset which created all the problems on the planet, the same mind and the same mindset is claiming that it will find solutions. It cannot find solutions, it can only create more problems. So, investing towards making this idea into a reality that a human being can evolve into another dimension, a human being can leave his limitations behind and rise above this. We need investment in that direction, both in terms of human resource and other resource. This needs to happen in a big way, otherwise all of us are going to regret. All of us are going to regret in a very bad way, or we may not live to regret. That is also possible.
He set up probably over, from what I have heard of, over 700 ashrams in the country. Many small places, that's not counted, proper ashrams where sadhana went on and he established some kind of a guru in the place and so that sadhana could go on. Over 700 ashrams he established around the country to make spirituality a part of everyday life. The depth of understanding and how he went about his work, with the energy and the wisdom with which he handled everything is quite superhuman in many ways. In many ways, Agastya is, you can say, almost, you can call him the father of South Indian mysticism. Yoga came in a particular format to South India, to Agastya. They say he lived for 4,000 years. I don't know whether he lived for 4,000 years, but definitely he lived much longer than what normal human beings live if you look at the volume of activity he performed in his life. It doesn't look like he died in 100 years' time. At least 400 years he must have lived, because the volume of activity he has performed is not possible within a certain limitation of time. Today we are jetting around and driving around, so we are able to do so many more things in a short span of time. But the kind of travel Agastya did on foot, it's impossible for a man to have that much activity in a normal span of human life. Definitely he lived very long, maybe 400 years and maybe 4,000, or people just added 1 zero because actual zero. But he did incredible things. He was the one who sort of tamed the anger of Kartikeya. Kartikeya was Shiva's son, so he got very angry and he wanted to go away from his father. So he went down south in great anger and he became a warrior. In many ways an unmatched warrior, and he went about conquering. Conquering, he didn't conquer to rule. Whatever he thought was unjust, he went about slaughtering. Because he felt his parents have been unjust to him and he wanted to create justice. When you're angry, everything feels unjust, isn't it? Every small thing, you think some great injustice is happening to you when you're angry. So he felt so much injustice in the world, so he found a lot of people to slaughter. So he fought battles and battles and went down south. It was Agastya who made this anger into a means for enlightenment. And finally he found his rest in Subramanya. So for the last time he washed his sword at Subramanya, settled down there for some time and then moved up Kumar Parvat, where he attained Mahasamadhi in a standing posture. So this great art of transforming Kartikeya's anger into a means for his enlightenment was Agastya's work. And all the siddhas of South India, they are very much in the tradition of Agastya. In a way, everything that I do is just a small extension to Agastya's work. He built a colossus of a place. We are just adding one extra room to it. Because this South Indian mysticism has a different flavor. That's because of Agastya. So he took up the maximum territory compared to the other six and went about transforming this in many different ways. He ensured that some element of spirituality is in everybody's life. It may be going away, but still, if you just look at the last generation, even today it's very much there. Even a simple peasant in South India or anywhere beyond Uttar Pradesh, anywhere down south beyond that, you will see even a simple peasant has some element of spirituality in him. This was Agastya's work.
Agastya Muni consecrated a linga which is originally actually made of sand mixed with some compound of those days, traditional compound. So it's a sand linga which is still intact, not only physically intact, in every way intact. This is seen as the navel of Kaveri because it's a midpoint and whatever he did, I wish I had more time to spend here, but it's just blowing away as if it was done yesterday. And it's incredible. This is our ancestry. It's believed that Agastya Muni left his subtle body here with this linga and left his mental body or Manomaya Kosha in Chadura, somewhere near Madurai or Virudhunagar, there is another place where he left his intellectual or mental body. But he took the help of Kartikeya and took his physical body to Kailash, where Shiva was, and left it there. That's a spectacular way of doing things in the end.
In the ancient scriptures, the figure of Agastya Muni looms large, revered as a sage of unparalleled wisdom and spiritual attainment. Yet amidst the well-known tales of his asceticism, teachings and divine interventions lie hidden secrets and whispered mysteries that have eluded the gaze of casual observers. Delving deeper into the ancient lore, we uncover few unknown and secretive facts about Agastya Muni, shedding light on the enigmatic persona of this legendary sage. Guardian of celestial portals. Beyond his earthly abode and mortal form, Agastya Muni is whispered to be the guardian of celestial portals that bridge the realms of mortals and gods. These ethereal gateways concealed within the fabric of the universe serve as conduits for divine beings to traverse between the celestial spheres and the earthly realm. It is said that Agastya, with his profound spiritual insight and mystical prowess, safeguards these portals from the intrusion of malevolent forces and ensures the smooth passage of celestial travelers. Within the sacred groves where the sage communed with nature and the cosmos, whispers abound of his encounters with celestial beings who sought his guidance and blessings. Through these mystical encounters, Agastya Muni forged alliances with gods and goddesses, weaving his essence into the tapestry of celestial affairs and cosmic destinies. Custodian of cosmic balance. Amidst the eternal dance of creation and dissolution, Agastya Muni is whispered to be a custodian of cosmic balance, harmonizing the forces that govern the universe. It is said that the sage, with his transcendent wisdom and spiritual insight, holds the key to maintaining equilibrium between the opposing forces of light and darkness, order and chaos. In the sacred texts and ancient scriptures, tales abound of Agastya's intervention of avert cosmic catalysms and restore balance to the celestial realms. Through his meditative practices, he channels the energies of the cosmos, guiding the evolution of consciousness and the unfolding of the divine will. Master of esoteric knowledge. Veiled within the depths of Agastya Muni's consciousness lies the secret of esoteric knowledge that have eluded the grasp of mortal minds. It is whispered that the sage possesses insights into the mysteries of the universe, the nature of existence, and the workings of the divine that transcend the limitations of human understanding. Within the sanctum of his hermitage, Agastya delves into the realms of mysticism, tantra, and occult sciences, uncovering hidden truths and unlocking the dormant potential of the soul. Through his teachings and revelations, he initiates disciples into sacred mysteries, guiding them on the path of spiritual enlightenment and self-realization. Champion of cosmic justice. Beyond his role as a sage and spiritual teacher, Agastya Muni is whispered to be a champion of cosmic justice, ensuring that the scales of karma are balanced and righteousness prevails. It is said that the sage, with his unwavering commitment to truth and virtue, dispenses divine justice to gods and mortals alike, holding all beings accountable for their action. In the celestial courts where the fates of souls are weighed and measured, Agastya stands for a beacon of righteousness, advocating for the downtrodden and oppressed. Through his interventions and divine decrees, he upholds the cosmic order and ensures that the wheel of karma turn in accordance with divine will. Bearer of celestial secrets. Within the sacred recesses of Agastya Muni's being reside the celestial secrets that have been whispered to him by gods and goddesses. It is said that the sage holds within his consciousness the keys of unlocking the mysteries of the cosmos, revealing the hidden truths that lie beyond the veil of illusion. Through his meditative practices and spiritual attainments, Agastya Muni accesses the Akashic records, the cosmic archives that contain the knowledge of all that has been, is, and will be. From these sacred scrolls, he draws forth the wisdom of the ages, imparting it those who are deemed worthy of receiving divine revelations. As we peel back the layers of myth and legend that enshrouded Agastya Muni, we uncover a tapestry of mysteries and revelations that hint at the boundless depths of his being. From his guardianship of celestial portals to his role as a championship of cosmic justice, Agastya Muni emerges as a figure of cosmic significance whose influence extends far beyond the realms of mortal comprehension. In the whispers of sages and the hushed tones of ancient texts, the enigma of Agastya Muni persists, beckoning seekers to dwell deeper into the mysteries of the universe and unlock the secrets of the divine.